There's a firewall running in some of the world's most demanding networks, handling billions of packets, securing remote workers across VPNs, and segmenting critical infrastructure. And it's running on hardware that costs less than a dinner out. $0 for the software, compared to $5,000 or more for a single commercial firewall license. This is pfSense. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why it's the most important networking tool you're probably not using. pfSense is a free, open-source firewall and router distribution based on FreeBSD. It was first released in 2004 by Chris Beekler and Scott Ulrich, a fork of the M0N0 Wall project. 22 years later, it's now developed and maintained by Netgate, and it's deployed in over 162 companies worldwide, from small businesses to Fortune 500 enterprises. But calling it just a firewall undersells it. pfSense is a complete network operating system. It handles stateful firewall with N80, advanced routing, VPN server with IPsec, OpenVPN, and WireGuard, traffic shaping and QoS, DNS forwarding and DHCP, intrusion detection with Suricata or Snort, and much more. All managed through a clean web interface. No command line required for 95% of tasks. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: cost. A FortiGate 60F costs around $2,500 with a 3-year subscription. A Cisco Firepower 1010 runs about $3,000. A Palo Alto PA440? Over $8,000 with licensing. pfSense Community Edition? 0. Free. No subscription. No per-user licensing. No annual renewal. And you can run it on practically anything. I used Dell Optiplex from eBay for $50. A Protectly Vault for $300. Or Netgate's own official hardware starting at $249. When you factor in total cost of ownership over 3 years, hardware, licensing, support, pfSense saves organizations 60 to 90% compared to commercial alternatives. And here's the kicker: in many cases, it outperforms them too. Let's look at what pfSense actually does under the hood. 1. Stateful firewall. Every packet is inspected and tracked. You get granular control over inbound and outbound traffic with an intuitive rules engine. 2. VPN. pfSense supports IPsec, OpenVPN, and WireGuard out of the box. You can set up a site-to-site VPN between offices or a remote access VPN for your team in minutes. 3. Traffic shaping. With pfSense limiters and ALTQ, you can prioritize critical traffic, VoIP, video conferencing, business apps, while throttling Netflix and YouTube during work hours. 4. Multi-WAN. You can plug in 2 or more internet connections for load balancing and automatic failover. If your primary ISP goes down, pfSense switches to the backup in seconds. 5. Captive portal. Perfect for guest networks, hotels, or coffee shops. A splash page for authentication, bandwidth limits per user, and full session logging. 6. VLAN support. Full 802.1q VLAN tagging. You can segment your network into isolated zones, guest Wi-Fi, IoT devices, corporate data, security cameras, each with its own firewall rules. And that's just scratching the surface. Add-ons like pfBlocker NG for DNS-level ad blocking, Suricata for intrusion detection, and HAProxy for load balancing turn pfSense into a unified threat management appliance. pfSense scales from your basement to the data center. Home lab or power user, you're running multiple VLANs, one for your main network, one for IoT devices, one for guest Wi-Fi, one for your media server. Segment them all with a $50 used PC. Small business, you have 10 to 50 employees. You need a VPN for remote workers, content filtering, and reliable internet with failover. pfSense does all of this on a $300 fanless appliance that fits in your palm. Enterprise or MSP, you're managing multiple sites. pfSense offers centralized management via pfSense Plus, automatic configuration backups, and API-driven automation. Companies like Microsoft, Tesla, and NASA have all been reported using pfSense in various capacities. One IT director told us pfSense saved their organization over $40,000 in licensing costs in the first year alone. That's not a discount. That's a career-defining win. So how does pfSense actually stack up against the big names? Fortinet FortiGate excellent security fabric integration. But you're locked into their ecosystem. Want to add a switch? it better be 40 switch. Cisco Firepower rocks solid hardware. But the licensing model is a nightmare. Smart licensing, perpetual subscriptions, feature tiers, you need a spreadsheet to figure out what you're paying for. Palo Alto, best-in-class threat prevention. But you're paying a premium for that name. Where pfSense wins, cost obviously. But it's not just the software cost. No per socket, per user, or per feature licensing. Flexibility, run it on any x86 hardware. Want 10 gigabit? Just add a compatible NIC. Need more power? Swap the CPU. Community, thousands of forum posts, extensive documentation, and a massive ecosystem of packages and tutorials. Where commercial still wins, one-call support. If your network goes down and you need a human on the phone right now, a support contract with Fortinet or Cisco gives you that. pfSense Plus from Netgate offers commercial support, but the free CE version relies on community forums. For most organizations, that trade-off is worth the savings. pfSense hasn't been sitting still. The latest releases bring major improvements. pfSense C 2.8.0, released December 2025, introduced N8064 support, a new high-performance BPPoE driver, Kia DHCP integration with unbound DNS, and automatic configuration backups. pfSense Plus 26.03, April 2026, over 40 updates including automatic TLS certificate renewal, WebGUI performance improvements, and enhanced API automation. And with the 26.05 release on the horizon, pfSense continues to evolve as one of the most actively maintained open-source projects in networking. pfSense is proof that you don't need a six-figure budget for enterprise-grade network security. It's been battle-tested for over 2 decades, deployed in thousands of organizations, and it's completely free. Whether you're securing a home lab, a small business, or a multi-site enterprise, pfSense gives you capabilities that would cost tens of thousands in commercial licensing. If this video helped you understand pfSense better, hit subscribe. I make deep dives on networking and infrastructure every week. Drop a comment. Are you running pfSense or thinking about switching? I'd love to hear your setup.